Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Commerce Meets Law YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking on this video and thank you for taking the time to come on this channel and support me. I hope that the next few minutes are going to be worth your time. So firstly, to all of those listeners who are Commerce Meets Law podcast listeners who've listened to the podcast before and have tuned into the channel, thank you for supporting me on here as well. And of course, for listening to the podcast. For those of you who don't know me and have just randomly clicked on this video, I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction to myself first of all, so that you can get to know a bit more about me and also why I've started this YouTube channel. So this video is going to be broken down into a couple of parts, 4 key questions in particular. So firstly, I'm going to give you an introduction to me, who I am. And then I'm going to talk to you about why I've started this YouTube channel. And the next question I'm going to be answering is what is sort of going to be there, what sort of content this YouTube channel is going to have. And finally, who this is targeted at. So there will be timestamps linked down below and in the YouTube channel in this video as well, so that you can jump around if need be. So firstly, I'm going to start off with who I am, for those of you who've either never met me or have never heard about the podcast or anything to do with me before. So my name is Shreya Srinivasan and I am a second year law student at the University of Exeter, and I'm also a future trainee at Skadden. So that's just a brief introduction to me, and of course if you do want to find out more, definitely go check out the podcast where I have spoken about it a bit more in depth. Now the next question is why I've started this YouTube channel in particular. So of course, as you may know by now, the podcast is also called Commerce Meets Law, and that's exactly what I've named this YouTube channel, which may give you a hint of why I've sort of set this up. So particularly as I started to do video podcasts on Spotify, where Commerce Meets Law podcast is, I think that I've received a lot of comments saying that, this can be uploaded on YouTube and it will be a way to sort of engage different forms of listeners. And I think that that's really, really constructive feedback, because in today's world, there is so much content out there and it is really, really difficult to be able to grow a podcast and grow your viewership because there is just so much choice. And, as a viewer and as a consumer of podcasts and YouTube and, sort of content in general, I can definitely see that. So this YouTube channel, firstly and primarily, is to support and sort of complement the podcast in itself. So a lot of the video podcasts that we do have on Spotify will also be uploaded on here, so that those who either don't listen on Spotify or maybe want to access the content a different way can do so on this YouTube channel. I think that short form content is doing really, really well right now, and this sort of content will be repurposed on those platforms as well. But I think there still is a demand for long form content, and so this YouTube channel can hopefully do that. But also I think that I've had a lot of questions, and whether that's on LinkedIn or DMs, about commercial awareness, about the world of commercial law in general and my experiences with it. And I think that it's really worthwhile being able to talk about that on this platform, and where someone can access it at any point and hopefully from any part of the world. So as well as complementing the podcast channel, this YouTube channel in particular is also going to have extra content where I'm going to be talking about sort of, whether it's anything from analyzing commercial news articles to the sources that I use to develop my commercial awareness, talking about my experiences with the commercial awareness competition, which I'll be talking about at some point as well. Also talking about sort of just, university life and my experiences as a student, any challenges and sort of, any opportunities that I've had and how I've utilized them. And also giving you a bit of an overview about any opportunities that you can consider if, you're sort of in the same position as me. Which leads me on nicely to talking about sort of who this YouTube channel is targeted at and why, perhaps you should consider subscribing. So every channel, especially now, I think should really have its niche, and there should be a key sort of message that, should be tried to sort of portray. And that's exactly what I want to do on this channel. That's the aim on the podcast, and that's going to be the aim on this YouTube channel as well. So, of course, as it's named, aptly Commerce Meets Law, it is talking about those interactions between the commercial and the legal world. And so this YouTube channel is targeted at anyone who is a student, so is currently in the same position that I am, who perhaps is a career changer and is thinking about pivoting from whichever career they're in right now into law, specifically into commercial law, or anyone who generally has an interest in the commercial world and perhaps wants to know some of those legal implications and sort of that commercial world broadly as well. So it really is targeted at anyone who has an interest in the commercial or the legal world, or perhaps the intersection between the two, which is what we aim to explore on here and on the podcast as well. So if any of those things interest you, or any of those things are something that you perhaps would find interesting, then hopefully you're going to enjoy the content on here as well. So that is just a whistle stop tour of what I aim to do on this YouTube channel and what I sort of aim to, the content that I kind of want to bring to you. Of course, I'm always up for suggestions, just like I am on the podcast. So if you do have any ideas on videos that you want me to do, or sort of themes that you want me to explore, or anything like that, then please do let me know, and I'll be more than happy to try and incorporate that. Until now, I don't have a particular upload schedule, like sort of I had on the podcast, but as soon as I'm able to establish that, I will definitely keep you guys updated. But for now, I would really, really appreciate if you considered subscribing to the channel, if you considered hitting that bell icon so that you'll be sort of, notified whenever there's a new video. And also, if you consider just giving a thumbs up and perhaps leaving a comment on what you think about the idea, and again, any suggestions that you may have, or any thoughts that you have in general about, sort of the theme and the fact that this is used to complement the podcast. I really, really want this channel to sort of, listen and reach as many people as possible, and hopefully reach new audiences that perhaps aren't podcast listeners. I mean, definitely shouldn't. I mean, always encouraging them, because I myself am a massive fan of podcasts. It's always going to be my first love. But I also do consume a lot of content on YouTube, and I really feel good when I've learned something from a video I've watched. So that's what I aim to deliver with this YouTube channel as well. So hopefully I can do that, and you will join me along this journey. But for now, I'm going to say thank you so much once again, and thank you for clicking on this video. Despite all the choice that you had, I really, really appreciate that, and I value your support and the fact that you have dedicated your time to listening to me. So for now, I'm going to say take care, and I'll see you very, very soon, either on the podcast or on this YouTube channel. Bye for now.